because there is a very important development which has implications globally, massive implications. It could lead to conflict. It could lead to perhaps even another war. It could believe and lead to opportunistic takeovers by force of countries. It is a very destabilizing problem. A troubling threat from Donald Trump is shaking faith in the idea of a rules-based world order. Donald Trump says he is, quote, very serious, unquote, about taking over Greenland, turning it into the 51st state of the United States. He says, quote, anything less than US control of Greenland is unacceptable, unquote. Imagine, viewers, a country saying that I will take over another country fully at the point of a gun or through any other means, through regime change, etc. What implications that will have? Tomorrow, viewers, China might think of taking over Taiwan or perhaps even taking over some part of India they consider theirs. How is the world going to react? The US White House even issued a meme taunting Greenland, asking, which way, man? Which way are you going to go? United States way? Or are you going to go Russia and China's way? Making up stories about how Russia and China have occupied Greenland. Viewers, it's bizarre. Greenland is a NATO territory, a Danish possession, and a strategic Arctic prize. And Greenland has come out and said, no, no question. Prime Minister says we are now facing a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark, here and now we choose Denmark, we choose NATO, we choose the Kingdom of Denmark, we choose the EU, unquote. Europe is alarmed. Russia and China are warning Washington to step back. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia says, and I quote, current tensions over Greenland sharply expose the failure of the West's so-called rules-based international order, unquote. And let me tell you, Putin is delighted, viewers, if Trump does what he does. He's promising to do. Putin will say, thank you very much. I'm not going to leave any part of Ukraine. I'm also going to walk into Ukraine, do what you want. China will say something else. Greenland offers a possible alternative supply to reduce dependence on Chinese rare earths and all sorts of other incentives. This is pure and simple resource-based Grand Lab. That's why the United States wants it. US is considering investing directly in Greenland-based rare earth projects to secure supply. Is this real geopolitics or imperial nostalgia in the 21st century? What's the difference between the East India Company and Donald Trump's United States today, viewers? There's no difference. Can a superpower walk into and grab territory citing security and resources? We have some questions to ask, and I want to go across to Kuno Fenker, a member of parliament from Greenland. Thank you very much for speaking to me, Mr. Fenker. Trump has suggested the US needs Greenland, even hinting at force. From Denmark's point of view, is this a breach of international law? What do you think? How are they going to react? What's going to happen? Are we going to see a war? What's going to happen?
I think that Greenland, of course, will adhere to international law, and that is non-annexation, non-colonization. And our party is pro-independence, which means we don't want to be de facto annexed or colonized anymore.
Sure. So let me ask you this, because Greenland sits at the heart of Arctic rivalry. How does Denmark protect Greenlandic autonomy amid US, Russian, and Chinese competition? How does this work?
Oh, yes. I think it's difficult to say. Since 2019, on the first term Donald Trump had, they had an agreement with the Danish Minister of Denmark that they had to up the ante in regards to the investments and the security defense of the area of territory of Greenland. And that has not happened. And I have also advocated that we have to be very proactive in regards to our shipping routes. I made a legal synopsis about it that we need to increase our territorial waters from 3 nautical miles to 12 nautical miles like they do in the rest of the world, so that we can protect the coastal areas of Greenland. So Denmark has had maybe equipment that was not too new, if you can say that. They had trouble with the vessels surveilling Greenland. They had trouble with the guns on the vessels, but in the last couple of months, or if we can say in the last year, Denmark has increased the budget for military quite substantially. But I think the question is how and when those budgets will materialize in equipment that can protect and survey Greenland substantial enough so that the United States is satisfied. And I think that also in regards to the Golden Dome that the US administration is talking about, I think the US will need much more military budget to do that. And I don't even know if Denmark or any other NATO country will have the technology to do so.
So it's a bluff. Most Greenlanders oppose becoming part of the United States. Shouldn't their consent alone end this debate, sir? If they say no, then why should Trump be insisting?
Yes, absolutely. And our party is also opposing to be under annexation and under colonization again. We are still under de facto colonization, annexation, but we want to break out of it. Hence, it means that we don't want to be the 51st state, but we are absolutely aware of the geopolitical situation, and we would absolutely like to have diplomacy and talks with the US in regards to what their interests are and also what their concerns are, and even amend our current agreements in regards to defense, which is from 1951. It was made before Greenland was de facto annexed into the Danish kingdom without referendum for the Greenlandic people. So it was amended in 2004 and limited the United States in a way that maybe not substantially, but in a way that it's more difficult for the United States to have military bases and military activities in Greenland.
So you've urged countries, even perhaps India, maybe through back channels, to back Denmark. What role should global partners play in stopping great power land grabs, sir?
I have no recollection of Greenland urging countries like India to protect Greenland, but I think that Denmark has done a substantial work within the NATO framework and within the European framework to adhere to that the US has to adhere to international law and eventually also human rights, and that is no land is for grabs, no land is for annexation, and especially not people and a land is to be purchased. So Greenland and our partners, our allies, of course, are working with the terms of international law. And we in Naleraq party is an independence statehood party, but we are absolutely also adhering to international law and our local laws with Denmark, which is the Self-Rule Act, where it's absolutely within the frameworks of self-determination
So
on
let me ask
how
you,
we should access.
If, Mr. Enkler, Greenland gets attacked, how is it likely to respond? Is Greenland prepared to fight? There is a huge disparity between your defense capacities and obviously the United States.
Greenland, we Greenlanders have no enemies, and we will always go the diplomatic way, the soft way, and also we can of course have very resilient and very tough people in Greenland. Greenlanders are hunters. Almost any whole household have a couple of or a handful of guns in their house. So we are not a people that goes to war, but we are a people that go hunting and live by nature. So we are extremely resilient, and our view from Greenland is no annexation, no colonization. From our party's end, the independent Greenland that can work with other states.
Well, thank you, Mr. Fenker, for speaking to me. Thank you very much for joining us. Viewers, this is going to be quite an issue, and it is one full of implications for the rest of the world. We leave it at this.